Hello friends, welcome to the SOAPUI training, and this is our first day. So I'll start with some frequently asked questions, and these are as such. Like, what will be the course duration? The course duration will vary from 35 to 40 hours, means approx 2 months. We need approx 2 months to complete our course. Next, like, what will be covered? See, we'll cover mainly the REST based testing. Okay, and within REST based I'll go for manual and automation both. And yes, for automation we need Groovy as our scripting language. Next, under frameworks, yes, under frameworks we'll go for data driven frameworks, as we have a list of frameworks. I'll talk about each and every framework, but mainly we'll work on data driven framework. And is it necessary to learn Groovy? Yes, if you want to automate your web service, then it is necessary. Okay, and we'll start from a very I hope you could understand, and yes, you will surely understand the brief introduction. And yes, and when I explain, and I hope you'll get each and every concept of Groovy which we need in our testing. And will we work on project? Yes, we'll work on a REST, like a retail application in which I'll go for REST. Okay, so testing based on REST will work, and it is a kind of like I'll even go for reports. See, reports generation is the most important part. And if I said like I'll go for a project. Project means to run, to automate, to write scripts, and then in the last generate reports. So I'll also go for reports. And will we cover SOAP? Okay, I say no, I'll not go for SOAP. I'll directly go for REST, as it is not as much famous and it is not used these days. Okay, and next, it's will we cover free as well as paid version? Okay, actually SOAPUI has two versions: free, that is the free version, which is the open source, and the paid version, which is like pro version, which is mainly it's Ready API. It's famous as Ready API. So yes, I'll go for both free version as well as the paid version. Okay, and the things, the programming and the stuff you must know. It's a very simple, like looping concept, a concept of functions, conditions, else if, while, loops, and all. Okay, is it clear? Any doubt? Okay, and okay, next I'll come back to our training. Firstly, I'll start with a web service. So let's see. I'll tell you what is the concept of web service. So this is about web service. Web services are what? I'll go for SOAP. I'll go for SOAPUI, but firstly you should know about the concept of web service, and I'll tell you how it is related to our SOAPUI. Okay, web services is nothing but a way to communicate. See, just a minute, I'll tell you. This is our, suppose this is our two applications, or two applications which are working. Say if it is working on Java, or it is working on Perl, or some other language. Say if it is .NET, and these both applications, say if they want to communicate. So how does this communication is possible? Okay, so if they both want to communicate means they both want to share some data, the data which is used over here. If it want to share it with the application which is based on some other language, so how could we use this? This is about the web service. So web service is a way, so I'll say here, it is a way to communicate. It's a way to communicate between two or more applications, or two or more websites which are based on two or more different languages. Okay, so in simple words I could say it is a way of interoperability. Okay, so it is a way of interoperability to operate, to communicate between two or different languages. Okay, so I hope it's clear about the concept of web services. Or actually there are many protocols or the standards. Okay, let's talk about, actually it is a collection of, web services is a collection of protocols. It's protocols, or I could say, and standards, various standards. Yes, I'll talk about these standards, but for a moment, just a definition, just to clear the concept of web service. It is a collection of protocols and the various standards. Okay, to for what function? Just to communicate, just to make the communication possible between two or different applications. Okay, this is about a web service. So let's talk about the practically, like I'll show you how practically it is related. Say if I open this website, makemytrip.com, and it is a traveling website. Yes, this is the UI for makemytrip.com. And say if you want to travel, okay, this is check-in, check-out, and say if I want to it's for this location, and okay, yes, say if I want to search, say if I want to search for till the time, say if this is my website, and okay, flights, say if leaving from again Delhi, going to Mumbai, and date, say from Friday to 15th, and return date say 14th. Just a minute. Yes, it's done, and it will show me the options which I have, like from which city I want to like go to, which city and all. Okay, so okay, it is opening. Yes, it is open. Okay, it is giving me, so yes, a screen like this will come, which will give me the various options, the various rooms, hotels in which I could stay and everything. So these are the options. So what I'm actually doing, there are actually various vendors which are working at its back end so that it could make the communication possible. So I'll show you how could I relate it with my web services. Say if this is my website, okay, this is my website as makemytrip.com, and user from this, this is the backend, like the front end, not the backend. This is from this user will come and search for makemytrip.com. Okay, and this is the user at its front end, and what does user will go for? User will search for, user will send request to makemytrip.com, like from which city, from which to which city like one wants to travel and all. Okay, and what does makemytrip do? Makemytrip will search for various vendors which provide such traveling possibility, like from which the user want. Okay, so it will send a request to all the vendors. Okay, so what I'm saying, these are the vendors: vendor 1, vendor 2, vendor 3. Okay, So user will send a request to makemytrip.com, and makemytrip.com do what? It will send the same request to the various vendors, like right, which provide that service, and vendors will return what? These are the possible, like a list of vendors may make my trip will look for. So these vendors which provide such facility will send back response. They will send back response to makemytrip.com, and makemytrip.com will again send back these response from the vendors which send actually back the response. Okay, so makemytrip again gives the options back to user, and then in the last, these are the response, a list of responses from the various vendors, and then in the last, user will select that vendor, the response from that vendor which suits one. Okay, so such communication, say if user will send this is the request part, right? So say if user are using user are doing its work on some different applications, and makemytrip may working on some different language, right? So how does this possible? Or in other words, I could say if vendor 1 is working on Java, its services, say if it is working on Perl, say if it is working on .NET, right? So this is for .NET. Okay, so how could I say like these all are related? So such kind of communication is actually possible only because of the web services. Okay, so web services is a way to communicate. So in a simple words, I could say the communication is possible with the help of web services, and web services is actually a way. Okay, so next I'll go for the standards on the basis of which web services is actually doing its work. Okay, this is the simply the how does web services are working. So we need actually this is the example for makemytrip is not as much secure. Say if I go for example, two examples I'll cover. First example I covered is makemytrip for makemytrip.com. Say if I go for the example for a bank or a big enterprise, right? This let's okay, it's big enterprise. I'm sorry. Yes, big enterprise. I'll explain you again the concept of web services for a bank, which actually needs the security, which actually needs the web services to be secure. Till the time I'm not talking about the security, right? In the makemytrip, they are simply sending their request and getting back the response for vendor from the various vendors. Okay, say if this is my banking system, so this is my bank, and a big enterprise, or this is for the case of my front end. For the case of my front end, I say I'm using Java as my front end language, and for the back end, say if for back end I'm using some other technology. Back end means what? The database part. Okay, so this is front end means the UI. Okay, so don't get confused with the front end and back end of the banking or a big enterprise. Front end means it's UI, GUI, graphical user interface, with which the user is gonna interact, and the database is the back end. Okay, so say if at the back end one is using the microprocessor as its technology, microprocessor, right? So but the Java, now how could I say like they both could communicate? How could I say they both could easily communicate? Because Java is my new technology, right? And microprocessor, it is my old technology, but they will surely need to communicate, right? So such kind of communication is how possible. And such kind of communication is what? This kind of communication is a web service. Okay, and this is possible because of some protocols. If you remember, see here in the starting I said web service is a collection of protocols and standards, right? So on the basis of such protocols and the standards, web services is possible. Okay, so I am talking about this concept. Is it clear? Okay, so I was saying such kind of communication is possible because of web services, and for this communication we need some protocols, we need some standards. Okay, next, as I was saying, these are Java is my new technology and microprocessor is the older one. So say if I want some different backend, say if my new databases MySQL or SQL Server, say if it is using MySQL or SQL Server as its backend, or Oracle, a very new technology, these all can actually easily communicate with my front end as Java. But for the back end, say if I use microprocessor, which is the older one, so we need web services. I hope this concept is clear. Secondly, this is a bank system, so it need to be secure. It need to be secure a lot. So I can say here one thing, like web services should be secure, right? Because the last example was not didn't need as much security. But if I say about a banking or for my big enterprise, I do need the concept of security. So these web services should be secure. Okay, I'll write over here. These need to be secure. Second, secure for what? Secure so that the concept, the data which which can't be shared with like everybody should be secure. Secondly, say if for the example, the same example, say if I am here using Java, right, and here I'm using microprocessor. So older technology wants to communicate with the new technology, right? So such communication should be systematic. It's systematic. So I could say here one thing, like systematic not only for the case of like new technology wants to communicate with the older one. Say if I again case the concept for the two different applications which are using two different languages. So if they both want to communicate, if they both want to communicate, I need the concept of systematic, so that they both could understand what they both are doing. Is it clear? Like the web services, why they need to be secure? I hope it's clear. Why they need to be systematic? This is also a very simple thing which I already explained you. Okay, so let's come back to this. So what is a web service and why we use web service? Okay, next terms I'll go for the okay, let's talk about the protocols and the standards which are used to make my web service secure and systematic. Okay, just XML. These are the various terms, okay, or the various jargons which we are gonna use in our SOAPUI training modules all. Okay, so XML, JSON, or SOAP as my protocol, REST as my architecture, and WSDL, WADL, or the URLs, various URLs. Yes, till the time we are just using the simple terms which we all know. Let's come to the various terminologies which we are gonna use. Okay, so one by one I'll explain every terminology, every term, and then I'll relate it with my web service. Okay, let's firstly talk about the XML. XML is what? Okay, these two, XML and JSON, are actually used to make my web service systematic. So I'll say for systematic for systematic to make a system so that they both could communicate, I need XML or JSON. So these are what? XML and JSON are what? These are the languages or notations. Okay, so I'll say here XML is what? It is extensible markup language, and JSON is what? It's JavaScript object notation. These are very important terms. Okay, so firstly I'll explain you about XML, then I'll come to JSON. Okay, what is XML? As it's saying, it's extensible markup language. Actually XML is my tag based language. Okay, and actually the most importantly communication based in our browser, it's done on the basis of XML. Okay, so let me show you. These are the some documents which I made for you. First one is this one. It is actually a tag based, right? I hope you know about the concept of tag based. Let me show you. It's XML is for tag based language, and it will contains a start tag and the end tag, and start tag and end tag should be same. Or say if I use ABC as my start tag, and the end tag will be like this. ABC as my start tag, the same name with a backslash. Okay, so let us relate the start tag and the end tag with my this request.xml. See here, this is my start tag as source city, and the ABC 1, 2 and 3, two or more different start tags. So what I'm saying over here, say if I do it like yes, like this. So this is my one single tag, source city, and destination city, again this is my one more single tag. In destination city, a value which will be present within start tag and the end tag is present. So what about source tag? Source tag contains two or more child tags present within a parent tag. Okay, so it is actually related to this. So request strip, my one parent tag, within which one more parent tag as source city, within which three child tags are present, and again two more tags, destination city and the date tags. Okay, so this is about my a simple XML request. Let us open it. Say if I open it directly, it is giving me the options. Just a minute, I'll select it. You could use any one of the browser, and say if I'll use Internet Explorer only, and it will open in the IE. And here, can you see, I'm here getting everything same. See if I go for select this plus, and it will give you the three tags. Again, if I open this one, I'm here again able to see three tags which are present in its corresponding parent tags. So this is about my XML. So XML works like this. Say if this is my request will send by one user, or request will again send back, say from make my trip and all. And what will I'll get back? I'll get back the response again in the same format as XML. Okay, so this is the response.xml and various tags present under response.xml. So I could say that it is a system actually. What is the system behind my request.xml and response.xml? Like, yes, anyone? Okay, so request.xml, the system behind request and response.xml is nothing but the same tags, start tag and the end tag. So start tag and end tag should remain same for the concept for my systematic, to make my web service as systematic, to make the communication as systematic. This is all about XML. Okay, and many more concepts you could use. XML nowadays used with DTD. It's document type definition, which will contain the legal documents which should be present while communicating between two or different applications which are based on different languages, or you could say two or different web services. When they both want to communicate, XML with DTD is used, which is legal documents. Okay, this is all about XML. So let's talk about JSON, and I'll tell you how these both XML and JSON are related. Okay, so this is about XML. Now it's JSON. JSON means what? JSON means JavaScript object notation, as I said. Object notation. And in JSON, I'll do what? Again, I said, to make my application, to make my web service systematic, I do need XML or JSON. XML, I hope it's clear. Now JSON. JSON will again JSON should have some notations, as its name could, like we could predict from its name, some notations are there, right? So let's see what kind of notations. Actually, JSON works in the format of key value pair. Okay, and key value pair means what? Key value pair means what? A key, then its value. Key will be mentioned over here and the value will be mentioned over here. And again, within curly brackets, these are present. Is it clear? Yes, it's key value pair. And what will be present? Say if I relate it with my last request. The last, this request.xml, say for this particular tag only I use it. This is my what? This is my XML based request, right? Say if I want to compare it, if I, okay, firstly let's talk about these three only. Okay, within curly brackets, then key will be ABC1 and the value corresponding to ABC1 is, it's 1111. Is it clear? And for next ABC2, it's 2222, and then a comma. Both of key value pair will be separated by a comma. Then ABC3, again a key value pair, the value will be like this. So this is my single JSON request. Okay, and say if I am talking about this parent tag, so how could I use this? Again, this is my key value pair, so within curly brackets I am gonna write everything. And what is key over here? This is source city, like this. Okay, so or I could write like this, and for each and every tag which are present under my source city, like this. Okay, so this is about my JSON, and these both are like this, they are related. So XML means what? XML is a tag based language in which a start tag and an end tag is present, and for my JSON it's a key value pair in which it actually works. Okay, this is just to make my application, just to make my web services systematic, I'll use these two terminologies, XML and JSON. So let's talk about the next one, SOAP and REST. Let's talk about firstly SOAP, and here it is SOAP. SOAP means it's a protocol. Yes, SOAP is a protocol. It's simple object access protocol. It is used to it is used in web services to make the communication possible in web services. These protocols are used, SOAP and REST. Yes, REST is okay. Let's talk about REST also. REST is not my protocol. This is the architecture, which is representational state transfer. Okay, So these are my two protocols and architecture which I'm gonna use. So when I'm talking about SOAP, as this is protocol which actually wants some language, some platform on which they could two applications based on SOAP could communicate. So SOAP actually uses XML. So the communication for SOAP is done with the help of XML only, and SOAP is nothing, as I said, it is a protocol and it is a messaging protocol which is actually used. Okay, so let's talk about the SOAP XML format, like the format of my SOAP request. Here it is. This is my whole my SOAP envelope, which contains 2 or 3 parts. This is my header, this is my body, and I could say here this is what? This is my SOAP envelope, and this is what? This is my SOAP header, and this is my SOAP body. Okay, so what will be present within my header and body of my SOAP protocol? Actually, under both of these, one language, as I said, is used. This is XML. In the format of XML, what do we do actually? It's a SOAP request and SOAP response. Okay, so SOAP request and response will actually passed as if I say I'll use SOAP protocol to communicate with the help of XML as my language. So again, SOAP request and SOAP response is present, and SOAP request and response contains what? SOAP request and a response actually contains these two things, header and body. So what is present in the header and body? These are the tags present within both request and body. So tags means what? Just a minute, let me write over here. So if it says SOAP envelope contains SOAP it's SOAP header and SOAP body. Okay, clear? So SOAP envelope and body, SOAP envelope contains header and body, and header and body again will come in the format of tags only. Why tags only? Because XML only for the case of SOAP. Okay, so tags are used in the format of request and response when I'm talking about SOAP. Okay, next, if I say I use REST, this is my first protocol. Okay, so let's talk about REST. REST is what? REST is again my architecture, and REST will use both. REST actually could use both XML and JSON, and I'm gonna use JSON only because XML will work in the same format. Okay, XML will gonna work in the same way as SOAP works with XML. So I'll go for JSON. So again, JSON contains what? Again, a key value pair, right? So let's do one thing. Say if I use here username, I'll show you one simple example for SOAP with XML and JSON with REST with JSON. So SOAP uses only XML, and XML is a format for XML contains tag. XML is a tag based language and it will use start tag and the end tag. Okay, and its password Priya SOAP 123. So this is my password and this is my username, right? This is the way to use my SOAP with XML. Say if I use the same thing with the format of REST and JSON, so it will work like this: username, then the value, say if it's Priya, and then its password. Both will be present within curly braces and like this. So this is my REST based request, actual REST based request with JSON, and this is my SOAP request with the format of XML. And yes, as I was saying, it will come with header and body, so it will be like this only, SOAP envelope, and then this is the start tag, and again the end tag will be present like this and like this. This is my SOAP envelope, and SOAP envelope contains what? It will contain SOAP header, and like this, and some SOAP body tags. SOAP body tags. This is the end tag. Okay, so I could say this is my SOAP body which contains these two tags, and within SOAP header, say if I use status, and the value, say if logging in. Okay, so this is what? This is my single SOAP envelope. Till which part? Just a minute. From this to this. This is my SOAP envelope. Or SOAP envelope means it's a kind of request or response. SOAP envelope will comes with header and the body tags. Okay, so within header tags some tags are present. Within body tags some more tags are present. So these are gonna work like this. And say if I am using REST, so REST will simply works with JSON only. Okay, things are gonna work like this. This is all about the REST and JSON, and yes, when we move further, you will get to know about each and every concept of SOAPUI tools which I am gonna use. Next, WSDL, WADL, and the URL. Let's talk about these terms. And WSDL and WADL. These are the terms. These are the basic. You could say a language, or I could say here. Just a minute. WSDL is Web Services Description Language, and this is WADL is my Web Application Description Language. Okay, so how does these both are related to my SOAPUI? See, if I want to do my work with SOAP, I use this. I use WSDL. Okay, and say if I use REST, then I use WADL, or mainly actually the famous URLs to run my REST based request and all. Okay, so WSDL and WADL both are gonna use a lot, but actually for the case of REST we'll use URLs, the URLs related to that particular web application. Okay, so this is my description language, WSDL, and which will actually tell me the availability of the services. So I could say for the case of web service, WSDL, web services description language, will tell me in describe like how many services are actually available from that particular web service only. Okay, next let's come back to this role of SOAPUI. REST SOAP is covered. Okay, let's talk about the role of SOAPUI. As just a minute, here I was. What is the role of SOAPUI. See, SOAPUI is used actually. It is the tool. It is a tool. Till now we are just studying about web services, how web services works and what are the various protocols used under web service. So now we are on SOAPUI. SOAPUI is my tool on which I'm gonna work, and which will actually help us to do my testing possible. So SOAPUI is a testing tool. Okay, and yes, there are some like importance, many, like this is the open source free version, like SOAPUI free version, and this is based on Java platform, right? And it will help you to do functional testing, as there are a variety of testing which could be performed. So SOAPUI is a functional testing tool. It is a free version, like free version is available, and it's a Java based testing tool, and it is actually provided by the SmartPair. Okay, so SmartPair, it's provided by the SmartPair, and there are versions, two versions, and also GUI is there for the case of SOAPUI. Okay, so GUI is also present, and yes, two versions, as I'm saying, so open source and the pro version. Okay, this is all about the role of SOAPUI. Role of SOAPUI means like how does web services could be tested. SOAPUI will help us to test my web services. Okay, so next is about SOAPUI version. Okay, let's talk about the versions of SOAPUI. And two versions, as I'm explaining you, it's free version and the open version. So what is the difference between my free version and the open version? Okay, this is the, just a minute. Actually, I could explain you the functionality, but you will get to know about this only at the last of training, when we'll like about 20 to 30 days, after 20 to 30 days of our training, then you'll understand mainly the difference between the free version and the pro version. Okay, so this is the functionality. See, only one is the possible thing which I could perform with my free version, open source, but the list of performing the operation with the free or paid version is increasing and increasing. Okay, so this is used a lot. This will help us a lot actually. Okay, so this is mainly the difference, or practically you'll get to know about the concept for difference when we'll actually enter in our free version and then in our pro version. Okay, so get to know, like we'll all come to know about the various like differences. Okay, actually for the case of saving my data, getting my data from the external file, it is very easy for the case of paid version, but very like complicated, kind of complications are there when I say like about the free version. Okay, so we'll get to know about the various differences. Till the time, these are the list of differences. Okay, now the how could we download? SOAPUI.org is my website from which you could download. See here, go to the download tab, and this is for the free version, this is for the trial version. Yes, the paid version I'm gonna use with the trial version, and you could like download it only when we need it. Firstly, I'll go for the free version, and SOAPUI, okay, it is giving me the link for free paid version only, or I could say here download SOAPUI OS. It's open source, and it should be present. It is giving me this tab only. You could download it like this is, yes, just like after going like save file, and it will be shown over here as it is actually present on my PC. So you could download it. This is the link according to the requirements of your PC. You could download it. Okay, this is for the free version only. Okay, getting my point? Like this is from soapui.org downloads. From here you could download it, just a single click on the free version. Okay, this is about downloading the free version. And save, as we don't need the pro version right now, or you could also download. This is the trial version, it's period for 14 days. Okay, this is all about the versions and how could we download and how could we install the SOAPUI. Next, about the future of web services. Okay, yes, the future of web services, I think it's very bright. Why? Because say if these days the demands are going to increase, right? The demands are increasing day by day, so communication is also going to increase, right? So just stay in this field, web services, and the tools, the testing tools, and many more terms related to the web services are required a lot and will be used a lot. Okay, the next part, the last topic for today, it's software API REST JSON testing. So let's talk about these now. It's software or REST or JSON, REST JSON, sorry, yes, then API testing and all. So these are, it's software, it's about testing. So these are the various testing terms which I could use. Software testing, REST testing, REST with JSON. REST with JSON, I hope now you know about the concept of REST with JSON. Using the REST as my architecture and JSON as my language, this is used a lot, and we are actually gonna work on this. Okay, so REST with JSON, this kind of testing is my one kind of testing. API means it's application programming interfaces testing and all. So these all testing are used, the terms are used, or these various terms you could use like one after another. Next, the last thing today, explain you software testing. This is about REST JSON, API, SOAP testing and all. Now let's talk about software testing. Software testing contains what? Software testing will contains will actually work on our software with the intentions of finding bugs. Bugs means what? The errors, the problems, the terms, the things which is actually not possible to run my application in the way as I want. Okay, so software testing, or I'll say like this, software testing. In software testing, it is done with the intention of finding the bugs. And bugs in what? Bugs could be found in software, or in our application, or in us, or in our project, or in a very simple terms I could say on my, instead of application, it's within my single program only. Okay, so with the intention of finding the bugs in my software, application, project or program. This is all about the software testing, right? And after doing all kind of testing, for what I'm doing everything, there are some requirements. So after doing testing, some requirements should be fulfilled. Such requirements are like business requirements, or some technical requirements, and or with some other requirements may a different business have, may a different enterprise may have. So these all requirements should be covered after my testing. Any kind of testing, REST, JSON, API, software and all. Okay, I hope the concept is clear, and this is all about today. And yes, thank you.